So in the last lecture we created the leaves particle. If I instantiate it here they are, pretty nice. Now we need to do the blocks particle, and I'm gonna create a block just so we have sort of a feeling for the size. So under prefabs, I'm gonna create one of these wood planks, put it in scene, double click to focus on it, and I'm gonna create again a particle system. So game object particle system. I'm gonna change the Z axis to -1 so we can see it. And first of all, we need to create a material for the other particle. And what the other particle is, you can see on sprites game we have this wood particles here, and this is actually the wood destruction particle. It doesn't look like, but it's just a white square, and we're gonna customize it to make it look like it is a little pieces of wood that are coming down from this wood plank here. So I'm going to create a material based on this wood particle. Gonna call it, I don't know, wood particle. Change the shader for particles alpha blended, and choose a texture here, which will be of course this wood particles here. And I'm gonna change this particle system's material to be the wood particle we just created. There you go, so it's working. Okay, so first of all we need to correct this gravity modifier. So I'm gonna put it to be I don't know, maybe 1. Bring down the size to 0.3, I don't know, 0.3 looks good. And now I'm gonna introduce you a new parameter. You can see that they are spreading too much. So I'm gonna go on shape here, and here I can edit the actual shape. In the scene view I can see what the shape looks like, and it's a cone. So I want to change it to a box. Just click on shape here, change it to a box. There you go, so it doesn't spread that much, which is something that I particularly don't like. And now I'm gonna expand this box shape by clicking on any of the corners here. Gonna expand on X, contract on Y, bring the emission up, for maybe 100, and pull this down a little bit. Oops, this is actually the center. So I think the gravity modifier can be increased a little. No, this is too much. Let's see what we can do so we can get rid of this effect here. Maybe we can set the gravity modifier to be positive and the velocity to be negative. Yes, this looks good. So we're going to randomize between two negative values. Maybe -2 and 0. And the color, what I'll do for the color is I'm just going to bring this down a little bit so I can see the colors of my wood plank, and I'm gonna choose random between two constants. And for the first color I'm gonna get the darkest color of this wood plank particle. And to do this I can just grab this color picker here, and I can choose any color anywhere on Unity, and I'm gonna choose the darkest one here. Just click on it. There you go. And for the second one, guess what? We're gonna choose the lighter. So maybe this one up here looks good. And there we go. So now we have a randomized color that kind of reminds us of the colors of this wooden plank, and this is a nice effect. Something else I want to do is I want to decrease the lifetime here. I want to put maybe I want them to die before they reach this bottom of the screen here. So maybe 0.7, I guess. Yes, 0.7 looks good. I'm gonna randomize the scale as well, so random the scale between two constants, maybe 0.1 and 0.2. And we can also make the scale go down depending on time. So we can go here to this size over lifetime transform, and this is a curve. So what this curve tells us is basically what's the size depending on the lifetime. So on the left part of this graph is the size just when the particle starts its life, right? So if I bring this down, you can see that the size just when it gets initialized is pretty small, right? But we want the opposite. We want it to be really small. Actually, we want it to be 0 when the particle ends its life. So I'm gonna grab this right point, I'm gonna pull it down. There we go. So we can add one more point here so it doesn't get so linear. Now this looks nice. So now where the actually configuration comes in, because we need to now we're gonna check if this is working nicely, because we're gonna disable the looping. So press stop, simulate, and of course the duration is just too big, so I'm gonna decrease the duration to maybe a second. I think that's too much, maybe half a second. Not enough particles, so I'm gonna go down here. Maybe I can increase the size as well, so 0.3. And when I hit play, yes, this is looking better, but I could use some bigger rate here as well. So 130. I think this start color is just too dark, so I'm gonna pull it up a little bit, try again, and it actually looks better. So this is all about, you know, trying things out and trying different patterns, because it takes a few minutes to get something that looks good. And this looks good for me, so I'm gonna change this to wood particles. Go under my prefabs folder, I'm gonna drag it here, and this guy is now created. I'm just gonna rename it to wood particle because we have a pattern here. This is leaves particle, and this should be wood particle, just because it's beautiful. Okay, let's see if it's working. Gonna drag it here. It works. So I'm gonna select my particle here, gonna hit apply just in case as well. I'm gonna delete this, save my scene, save my project, and now it's time to actually instantiate those particles when it's time. And we're gonna do this in the next lecture. Actually, just before I end this lecture, I'm gonna delete this wood plank that we've used just for reference. I don't need it anymore. I'm gonna save the scene as well, and I see you in the next lecture.